please, you'll get a chance next time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I'm fairly reluctant to support this bill. And the reason I'm reluctant to support it is because I don't feel sufficiently convinced from what I've seen in the bill and even from the committee report. Mr. Speaker, whenever one seeks an amendment to an existing law, there must be a mischief that one is trying to address or redress. There must be a gap, there must be a lacuna. And when I'm looking at the arguments that are being proffered, Mr. Speaker, they look more like administrative gaps and hiccups. We are talking about two entities that allow for registration. We are talking about the university one and the one for diplomas, and we are saying it creates confusion. If it creates confusion, then administratively deal with the confusion. So for me, I don't think that every time we have a hurdle, we bring an amendment to deal with that hurdle. When there's a hurdle, perhaps the people who are in those institutions are not working, just remove them and put people who can work. So for me, I'm not really convinced. I don't normally like challenging when a member has gone out of their way to bring an amendment, so I will not outright oppose. But I would wish that they have more, grounds for convincing me, for instance. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that I was hoping to see is what is international best practice. And when I'm seated here, because now we are actually in a digital era, you can actually see, I've Googled some of the most prominent universities, Oxford University, my university, New York University, Nairobi University, even if I leave the Kenyan ones here. But I've Googled international universities, Harvard University. And even though Harvard, they put it differently, but they offer certificate courses. They may not offer these diploma courses as we know it in Kenya, but they do offer certificate courses. And Oxford does offer, those diploma courses. So what I would want to ask is, what experience do we have from other international successful universities? And I don't see that in the report of the committee, because whenever you wish to change a practice that has been here for a long time, there has to be very good grounds for doing that. And Mr. Speaker, only recently we established a TTI in Suba North, in Waondo area. And Mr. Speaker, we are overwhelmed by the numbers. The students that are just registering are overwhelming. I am hoping that we can do yet another one in Rusinga Island because of the numbers that have shown up. We have a lower level one at Mfangano Island, which we are also seeking to have upgraded as an island. But the numbers are really there. So I think this, TTIs and whatever, the TVETs can actually run, but it doesn't have to stop the universities for offering specialized courses that are in line with some of the areas that they have expertise on. Maybe the TVETs may not have
there was an issue earlier that, for example, when an issue arose that for you to run for MCA, you must have a degree. Some universities set up a dubious course called Diploma in Leadership. How specialized is that?
Mr. Speaker, one of the things you can do, but you actually need a diploma in leadership. I'm actually currently doing my PhD in leadership and governance. Mr. Speaker, why we need that is because we have a dearth of leadership in this country. We have a dearth of good leadership in this country. And perhaps we need to be taught again about that. But Mr. Speaker, it actually speaks to the issue of accreditation. And it goes back to what I was saying, that if it is the accrediting authority that is accrediting courses that we may not understand or which we don't make sense to us, then we actually should be going back to the accrediting agencies and ask them why or what sense does this make? But it can't go to the fact that then we kill the university's courses. Perhaps it just means that at the level the universities are getting accreditation, somebody slept on their jobs. There are universities that are offering diplomas in ICTs, areas in skills that actually maybe those lower level colleges may not be able to offer because they don't have the same equipment and facilities. So for me, I'm not really convinced. I will not oppose, but I would want to request the mover to really think about it, and even the committee. I wish they would have given us international best practices in relation to this. But otherwise, it's not very, very convincing. I wish we had talked more about how do we ensure that even in the colleges that I'm talking about, the tertiary level, there are more women involved. There are more courses dealing with young, women, and more courses that relate to technology, because that's actually the way the world is going. So for me, that would be more like what I'd want us to talk about. How would we then incorporate things that deal with the specific areas? Like I would wish to see, and which I'm very glad that our TTI is already partnering to see how they do on fisheries, because that's our mainstay. So that people can have expertise on in situ and ex situ fishing, instead of just having, on spacecraft, and we'll never do anything with spacecraft. But we have things that relate to our day-to-day living. I must say I'm very impressed that the other day I passed there, I found that a wall had been built, a beautiful wall around the institution. And it's done by the students, because it's life skills that they have learned there. But that doesn't stop the university from doing diplomas, which are stepping stones, to the university, to courses that they offer as a university. And perhaps for the university, you have your own styles, you have your own skills. So you are hoping that a